Good afternoon. My name is Hilary Woodhead. I am NAPA's Executive Director, and I am delighted to welcome you to this live broadcast. We are streaming across Facebook and YouTube this afternoon. So wherever you are, we hope you are sitting comfortably with a cup of tea. I've got mine here as we talk about some very important topics this afternoon tea week. Please tell us who you are and where you are by chatting in the chat. Please include your comments and questions below, and we will do our best to cover as many of them as we can over the next half an hour or so. First of all, it is my pleasure to introduce Eloise Greenwood, Trade Marketing Executive from Lakeland Dairies. Eloise, please join us.
Hi, Hilary.
Hello, Eloise. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I've got my little teacup with me, so I'm all ready for our afternoon tea.
Lovely. I'm pleased to see you. It's nice to see you. And you've got the cows behind you. Always. The way with Lakeland. You've got your cows behind you. Very nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Do you want to just say a little bit about yourself and about Lakeland Dairies and about the partnership with NAPA?
Yeah, definitely. So my name's Eloise. I've been with Lakeland Dairies for just over a year and a half now. I've been I'm the Trade Marketing Executive and Packaging Coordinator. So Lakeland Dairies is 100% farmer-owned, farmer-controlled dairy cooperative, and we have a proud heritage in dairy farming. If you want to find out more information about us, then we'll pop the link in the chat so you can come and have a look at the website. During my time here, we've worked closely with NAPA, which is always a delight. Everyone's so friendly. I've worked on various campaigns such as the afternoon tea and festive tipples, and I was also on the monthly calendar. So it's great because NAPA, everyone there has such a huge wealth of experience and knowledge as well. So it's great to work with them to be able to promote various products that we offer for health and well-being. So yeah, always an enjoyable time being able to spend time with NAPA.
Thank you, Eloise. And I just want to echo that. It's a great partnership, and I think one which we've learned a lot from too over the years. So thank you for that. We have been busy this last year, as you said. We've published the NAPA calendar, which is our activities calendar for every day of the year. It's a free monthly resource for those of you who might be watching today that haven't seen the calendar. You can download it free of charge. It's available to every care and support service in the UK, and you can download that from our website every month, or you can sign up to NAPA News and get it directly into your inboxes. And the July and August calendars are available at the moment, and September will be with us very soon. So have a look at those, enjoy those, use them, and give us your feedback, because we're always open to ways that we can improve it as well. But we are absolutely delighted with the response that we've had from the calendar. I think at the last count, we've had about 100,000 downloads of the calendar in the last 12 months. So it is a very, very popular resource, and we're really, really proud of it. We also published a toolkit together, didn't we? Very important toolkit. And that was about supporting this incredible and important relationship between activity and catering teams. And it's full of top tips for working together, positive practice examples. Everything we do at NAPA with Lakeland is all about how we can support good practice in care homes, particularly around food-based activities and food-inspired activities too. So there's lots of information in that toolkit. Again, it's all been about our collaboration in support of good practice. So it's free to download. So get your copy today if you haven't already seen it. But today, we're here to discuss the delightful occasion, which is Afternoon Tea Week, which not only brings people together, but also encourages collaboration, creativity, and teamwork. I think it's probably one of my favourite times of year. I mean, what's not to like about afternoon tea, really? The event takes place every year, every August. This year, it's between the 7th and the 13th. And what we've found over the few years that we've been championing Afternoon Tea Week at NAPA is that it really does give people an opportunity to celebrate. It's a lovely celebration. You've got a whole week. So you haven't just got one day, you've got a whole week to really celebrate the art of tea, engage in meaningful activities, encourage activity and catering teams to work together harmoniously. And we're going to hear a little bit about how you do that very, very shortly. But I think one of the things that we hear quite a bit from activity providers is that activity and engagement can be quite a lonely job. So whatever we can do to support activity providers to work collaboratively, whether that's with the care team, the catering team, their managers, we're really, really here to do that. So please, if any of you have any ideas, if you've got great practice, or if you're challenged by working collaboratively, please get in touch with us, because we've got a huge amount of resources to be able to support you to work collaboratively. So when it comes to afternoon tea week, you might have the catering team thinking about skillful crafts, delectable treats. You've got the activity team thinking about parties and events and decorations and how to get everybody involved. And actually that synergy between those two teams is really crucial. It's really crucial for any food-based activity. But I think if we really want to kind of get the atmosphere right, the ambience right for afternoon tea week, it really is about that essential kind of relationship. And we're all about sharing good practice here. So I think, that's really, really important, but also celebrating what you do well. So Eloise, do you want to just say a little bit about the competition, the showstopper, and how activity and care teams can work together and get involved on that?
Yes, so we've got a really exciting competition. So it's an afternoon tea cake competition, and there's a grand prize of a £250 Amazon voucher. So we're asking for activity teams and catering teams to work together to create an absolutely fabulous cake, a real showstopper piece. It can be any size, shape, flavour, absolutely anything. The only rules are that it's tea themed and it's bright and colourful. So we're hoping to get some real creative entries, and we're really excited to see what you guys make. We've also created a Pinterest cake board, which you can see on the competition details on the page as well. So you can have a little look, and then when you've made your gorgeous creation, you just need to snap a photo and send it over to the email address, which is also on the competition details, and then we'll be able to have a look at all your wonderful entries.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, just looking at the images in this resource, and particularly that competition, just makes my mouth water. It's such a, I mean, you just think, where do we start? I mean, look at some of these. Yes. They're absolutely, the images are just beautiful. And it's so interesting, isn't it, how imagery can inspire activities. If you show that the people that you're working with, your residents, a photograph, that can really spark a conversation, can't it, about baking and cookery, and actually get everybody to think quite creatively about how they might support this type of activity in afternoon tea week. So thank you for those gorgeous images, because I think they really set the scene in the resources as well. So we're going to turn now to kind of the first-hand experiences of activity and catering teams. And think a little bit about what is that essential, what are the essential components, ingredients, I should have said, essential ingredients to this relationship. So I'd like to welcome Chris and Ellie from Majesticare. They're backstage waiting. There they are. Look, they've been waiting very, very patiently. Hello, both of you. Nice to see you.
Hi, guys.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Yes, fine, thank you. Very, very nice to see you. What is all that behind you?
Oh, we've got some it's mirrors, but we've got some of our bunting hanging up.
Very nice. On theme. I like it. Very good. We all need bunting for afternoon tea week. I think it's a must have. So tell us a bit about yourselves. Just introduce yourselves, who you are and what you do.
So I'm Ellie. I'm one of the activity coordinators at Cavendish Park Care Home. I've been working here for just over 2 years now, doing everything from the larger events to one-to-ones to making every moment sort of as magical as possible for all our residents.
Brilliant. You do a wonderful job. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I'm the head chef here. I've been here just over a year now. Obviously responsible for all the food and the cakes and the afternoon tea. So we make everything in-house, everything that we can make, and all fresh on the day for the day. So and we use the best quality ingredients we can get. So we do our best here. We've got 64 residents now, nearly full. So it's a good deal. Lots of different tastes from everyone as well that we have to keep pleased. So it's quite a challenge, but we get there and it's good fun.
I find it a challenge cooking dinner for 5 in this house with different likes, dislikes, various special requirements. So how you manage with 60 odd people is beyond me. So that in itself is, I take my hat off to you. That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about what you've got planned, what specific activities or events that you're thinking about doing for Afternoon Tea Week this year.
Yeah, so we've got quite a lot planned for our Afternoon Tea Week. All of it pretty much leading up to a nice big tea dance on the Friday.
Very nice.
Where we're going to invite some children from the community to join our residents for afternoon tea and a bit of a boogie. But throughout the week, we'll be making cakes with the residents, making decorations, maybe having a few competitions on our social media to get our wider community involved. But it's just trying to do lots of different things to try and suit sort of the different wants and needs of our residents, really, because we could do one big thing, but that's not going to suit everyone. So if we do lots of little things in the lead up to a nice big party, it can try and get as many of our residents involved as possible.
That sounds fantastic and great fun, but it also sounds like a lot of work. You know, these things don't just happen, do they? You know, you don't wake up one morning and everything's just laid out ready for the celebration. It's a lot of work. So how do you work together? Tell us a little bit about your collaboration.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of the time, us as activities, we have all these big ideas and things that we want to do. We speak to the residents, and then we'll come and talk to Chris and say, look, this is what we'd like to do. What can we do? How can we work that? And you'll sort of come back, be like, yeah, we can do that, or maybe we can't do that.
Yeah,
we could do this.
We sort of work together on a daily basis. We have morning meetings as well. So, you know, we discuss what we can do on the day, knowing the dislikes and likes of all our different residents, keeping everyone happy. So, because we've got to please as many people we can in one go, which is quite a challenge, as you already know. Lots of different dietary things as well we have to take into consideration. So we work quite closely on a daily basis, and when the girls have these fantastic ideas, they come in and throw them at us, and we go, yeah, that's great, or why don't we do this, or yes, that's doable, or we could do a bit of this as well. And we sort of just have a brainstorm, don't we, together? Yeah. So it's sort of a, you know, give and take sort of thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And because I think as well, because you'll hear a lot of, maybe if people don't like things, you'll hear about it, but you don't always hear about if something's gone well. So we, especially if we're back in the kitchen, so we try and make sure that you know when things are going well as well, so that they can keep going with everything that's going good.
Yeah, that's really important, isn't it? Because you can be a little bit behind the scenes in the kitchen, can't you? And actually, you know, absolutely. Such important work happens behind those doors. And I think it's a shame sometimes if you're not able to do some of that, you know, in public, because I'm sure your residents would love to see what's going on in the kitchen and how the plans are coming together. So that's really nice. It's a nice bridge with the activity provider, isn't it? It's a nice sort of a liaison between kind of what's happening in the rest of the home and what's happening in the kitchen. And the fact that you say you catch up every day, I mean, that's amazing. Even if it's just for a few minutes, it's important, isn't it, to have that, you know, quick catch up. This is what I've got. These are my ideas for today. What do you think? How are they going to work out? And I like the way you said, even if when they say no, then they say, but this is what we can do. You know, it's not an absolute no. There's always a way around it or something that you can do together. That's brilliant. So obviously, NAPA and Lakeland Dairies have created these resources. We're very proud of them. They're very beautiful. But what difference will they make? I mean, how are you going to incorporate them into your plans for the week? Any thoughts on that yet?
Yeah, I mean, even especially for the afternoon tea week one, when I started to think about it, I was sort of, well, we can have an afternoon tea, but we could have an afternoon tea anytime. So I looked through it, and it's actually where I got the idea of doing a tea dance from. And then talking to some of our other activity coordinators and our community lead, we were like, wow, we've got this group of a school holiday club that we have coming in around the time. So we've actually rearranged when they're coming so that they can join the residents. Looking through it has given us ideas for some arts and crafts we can do, for making decorations, different recipes for different cakes we can make with the residents. Because we know our kitchen can make some amazing cakes, but getting the residents involved, it's sort of making sure we have recipes that are more suited to them making them. So whether they might find it a bit harder stirring a thicker batter if they've got arthritis, anything like that. So it's making sure the recipes are suiting them that they're making, or even if it's just decorating the cakes rather than making it from scratch, it's making sure we've got something for everyone. So that's why we want to try and do different activities throughout the week so that it gives everyone a chance to have a go and get involved.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love when you talked about adapting the activity to the people that you're supporting, and it's great that there's information in there about in the pack about that, but also that you're able to kind of think creatively and talk through, well, actually, how do we make sure everybody's involved in something? Because as you said earlier, not everything's for everybody. So you've obviously really given that a lot of thought about how you can involve everyone, because not everybody likes a party, do they? But they might like to sit quietly and make some scones, or, you know, so actually everybody's involved in some way or other. I think that's lovely. And I think one of the other things, obviously, to bear in mind, and Chris, you mentioned this before, that you might have people with different dietary requirements and dietary needs as well, and preferences. Any thoughts on how you what you do at the moment, but also what you might do to make sure everybody's included? There's an inclusive approach for people with different diets or dietary needs.
We're quite lucky here at the moment. We have very few special diets. We make all our scones with margarine anyway, because we feel that we get a lighter product. It's more fluffy. You get a better result and a better taste, I think, as well. So they're a bit healthier in that respect. It's also easier to make a little bit. So that solves one dietary issue. Obviously, as I say, we haven't got any gluten-free people at the moment, but there's plenty of lovely gluten-free flours available at the moment that you can just quite easy, with a few tweaks, substitute a recipe and change. Also, if people some people just don't like pastry, you can do little meringues and things like that. Just exactly the same as an afternoon tea, still with the jam and still with the nice clotted cream and everything. So it still works. And even for our guests that unfortunately have to have, like, for example, pureed food or texturized food, we can quite easily make scones and things like that, letting them down with some milk in a special little food processor to the right level. So even those people can partake in the event. So it's not quite the same as having a full afternoon tea, but it's there, on the plate that they can taste and try. And
absolutely.
It gives them a nice taste.
And that's it. And that, I think, it is thinking creatively, isn't it? That's the best possible approach. And talking to people about, how they usually adapt when they go out to eat, or asking families as well. That's really important, isn't it? Because we might think that we've got the answer, but actually they might have a trick up their sleeve that they've been using for years in terms of their own cooking and baking, etc. So yes, I was thinking about gluten-free diets particularly, and the rise in those, and just talking to people about how do they usually manage in these situations, and because they'll know if this is something that they've lived with for a long time or many years, they'll know, won't they, how to navigate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, gluten-free tolerance and intolerance. So there are those people, the naughty ones, that think, heaven forbid, afternoon tea is my favourite. I'm going to have a proper scone. It's just a one-off. At the end of the day, gluten is usually an intolerance. It's different with celiac, obviously, because celiacs mustn't have the flour and the other products. So, if they're just a gluten-free intolerance, some people will just say, for that one special occasion, think, I'm going to have it. But you have to have the backup ready just in case. So
absolutely. Yeah. Great. Thank you both. So obviously you've got lots planned. It's going to be a lovely week. How will you know that it's gone well? What sorts of things will you do to evaluate its success? Any thoughts about that?
So I think we're always talking to the residents, making sure we have that open relationship where they can tell us if something's gone wrong, but equally they can come to us and tell us if they don't think something's quite gone right. I think having that open communication is so key, because you don't want them to sort of go away and think, I didn't enjoy that last time, I'm not going to come anymore. If they can have that open communication with us, it will help them to hopefully keep coming to activities, because ultimately all of our activities are for them. If it's not what they're enjoying, they need to be able to tell us, and if they don't feel like they can tell us, they then might stop coming, maybe become isolated. So I think the open communication is so key. We also tend to have sort of monthly, quarterly resident meetings where they can come together, tell each department if there's anything that they think is going well, if they want to see in the home with activities with the kitchen that they want to improve. So it's just keeping that constantly open, because you may go up to someone and say, oh, what did you think of that? And they're like, oh, yes, that was amazing. Trying to please everyone, but it's building those relationships so you can tell when something is not quite right, even if they're saying that it's great.
We're both on the floor quite a lot, so I know we say that the chefs usually get stuck in the kitchen, but we are around a lot here. Good. We do our best to get out as much as we can, so we do chat with our residents fairly frequently, and we always get a lot of feedback from them, so it's always welcome here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good. That's good to hear. So I don't know about you, Eloise. Do you fancy popping over to Cavendish Park and having afternoon tea with Chris and Ellie and all the lovely residents? Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I think we might have a few questions from the audience that are coming in. I think there's a question coming in from Ada. So she sent this ahead of the live. She wanted to be here but can't be. So she says, I'm sorry I can't join you today, but I'm looking forward to catching up later, of course. And that's a great reminder that actually this is now live. So if anybody's watching this and they've suddenly realized they've got to go and do the school run in 5 minutes time, you can watch it again later on. So this will remain on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So you can watch it later as Ada's going to. She says she really struggles to get the activity provider. So she's the chef. She struggles to get the activity provider to let me help in the planning of any big event. She says she's got a background in events management and she feels she has a lot to bring to the table. How can she get conversation started so that they can work as part of a team or work as a team? Any thoughts on that? I mean, from either of you, really. Chris, do you want to start on that from the kind of a chef's point of view?
Well, I mean, we're quite lucky here. Like we were saying earlier, we have a meeting every day. So, everyone sort of has a little brain bash in the morning at the heads of department meeting. So, things are put on the table there. We go away and discuss things after. Quite often the girls will email me something or I'll email them. So I think it's just talking, basically. You need to sort of talk to each other and throw ideas at each other and not necessarily bang your head against the wall and say, I want to do this. You need to, each department has to work together and each department's got their own constraints. So, we have to work together and we have to get the best out of each other, don't we? So, Ellie knows what we can do. We know what Ellie can do. So we sort of, it's just a conversation, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Give and take, I think. Yeah. And it's just always asking the question.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Fire alarm.
It's your life in the care home.
So I think, just having the conversations. If you don't know if they can do it or not, ask without pushing.
Always ask.
And I think a key one that Chris said was putting us emailing each other. I think a great thing is always put it in an email, because even if you've told them in person, they may be in the middle of something, a million things. If you put it in an email, then you've both got it there and can refer to it. But I think it's just having that open conversation. Maybe to start with, it could be
a cup of tea and a scone.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily start.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you both.
Start with.
Great. Did you want to add anything to that, Eloise, from the point of view of the chef?
I would just recommend the toolkit, definitely, that we've got created, the working together, because it's full of lots of great tips and information. So if you're able to get on there and download that and have a look, I definitely recommend that.
Yeah, brilliant. And Ada, I would emphasize your background in events management. I think there's lots of synergy between the activity provider and the catering manager, actually. And, if you've got that experience, share it and share examples of how you have created events that have gone well. You know, if you've got photographs or you know, from events that you've been part of, share them. And if you have also had situations that have gone wrong, share those too, because it shows that although you've got lots of experience, you also know where some of the challenges are. So I wouldn't hide your light. I'd be saying, you know, we can work really well together. And as you said, but also recognize that everybody's got a lot on, and follow that up with an email or catch up again about it at your next meeting or whatever. But you know, I think the fact you want to work together is great. Maybe also have a chat with the manager, because the manager might not realize that the activity provider has been really busy or not that sort of receptive. That isn't about complaining. That's about trying to find a way forward. So that might be something that could be helpful. You know, and value each other's contributions. I think, as obviously Chris and Ellie do. I think that's you know, take a leaf out of their book, because if you understand their pressures, they'll understand yours, and then you can find that way forward. But really great question. Thank you, Ada. And I do hope you get to watch this later on and let us know how you get on with that, with those ideas. I think we might have another question coming in. Have we got another one? Yes, this one's from Stefan. Another chef. I'm a chef in a large care home. Our activities organizer and I have such a great relationship, and we plan all of our events together. So more good practice, good. We have a slight issue. We have a new manager who doesn't see this as productive, and thinks we should stay in our own departments. This is really frustrating, as we know we're doing the right thing. Any ideas on that one, Ellie?
I don't know. I have to say we've been very lucky that it has been. I think Mel, as our home manager, has been sort of a key role in helping us to sort of bridge the gap and work together, and just working together as a whole, collaboratively. But I think maybe if they're new, maybe you could show them how well you work together. It's all well and good that sort of talking to them, but if you can really show them, let them see it for themselves, they may push that they don't want you to work together, and it may ultimately, this is what you'd never want it to happen, but it may be that if you aren't able to work together and they can then see maybe that doesn't work as well, it could help them to see that then working together is what is needed, because it has to be a whole home approach. Because otherwise we're all here for the residents. If we can't all work together, then it's not going to work.
Well, I hope this manager's listening and she heard you say that, Ellie, because I couldn't have said it any better. I think you're absolutely right. I think demonstrate why working together is important. You know, if you keep track of your successful events, if you're evaluating Stefan in the way that Ellie was talking about, you know, going back, talking to residents, talking to families, what did they enjoy? What would they do differently next time? If you've got that kind of evidence from previous events, then show that to the new manager, and so that they can see the benefits of you working well together. Because if you don't work well together, what's the likelihood going to be? Well, it's going to be that you're not going to have such great events, isn't it? And we wouldn't want to have to get to that situation. But I can see Ellie's point. Maybe sometimes we have to say, okay, well, we'll do this without collaboration and see what the difference is. Collaboration's always got to be positive. And I wonder what's behind that with the manager. Maybe they've been given a mandate to do things in a particular way, or to focus on a particular area in terms of coming into the setting. You know, let's try and understand, is there another reason behind this that we haven't quite got to the bottom of? But just keep talking, I think. List those benefits, keep sharing why it's a good idea, document your examples of working together, and gather feedback. If you've got testimonials from other colleagues or from residents or relatives, share those as well. You know, they're important tools. I think sometimes we get a bit fed up with documentation and writing things up, but you never know what's around the corner. And if you've got that evidence about why doing things in a particular way is worthwhile and is improving and enhancing the well-being of the people you're there to support, that goes a really long way when we're trying to change things. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you all for that. Thank you. So this one is Farquhar. I'm new to the role of activity provider, and I'm really looking forward to afternoon tea week. How can I involve my residents that are cared for in bed? Ellie, any thoughts on how you support people who are cared for in bed with events like these?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think obviously people who are bedbound, they're a bit more, they may have, you may have to adapt more to them. So whether it's going for finding out maybe something that they've always loved, maybe you could do a one-to-one baking session and take the ingredients and the setup to them, or whether it's you could have a tea tasting session in their room, or something as simple as with them helping with colouring in a piece of bunting so that they can have a part in a larger piece of bunting made in the home. I think there's always ways to adapt around it. It may be that it's simply playing some music that you might play at your tea dance, and just helping them to feel a bit more involved. Obviously, they'll have varying levels of wants and needs, but I think ultimately it's starting off with having a conversation with them to see how much they want to be involved, in what ways they'd like to be involved. But yeah, you could have everything from a baking activity to song, arts and crafts. I think there's so much you can do.
I think it's that proactive approach, isn't it? It's thinking, well, actually, although we're thinking about an event for Afternoon Tea Week, actually, it's all those little events, those little activities that are leading up that you mentioned earlier. And they can all go to a person's bedside. They can go to a person's room, can't they? They don't have to happen in a communal space. I loved all of those ideas. I think the only thing I would add to it, and this is something that we really emphasise, I think, with the work we've done with Lakeland Dairies, is the sensory experience of food. That actually, you know, the taste of the tea, the taste of the cream, the taste of the strawberries, the taste of, you know, and the smells as well, even the texture of the tablecloths, you know, the napkins, the things that represent afternoon tea. So important, aren't they, Eloise? I mean, that really is all part
definitely.
of that food-based activity.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And the other thing we sometimes suggest is individual tea trays, because we like a tea tray in a care home, but they can themselves just be little pieces of art, can't they? You can put all sorts of things on a tea tray that stimulate interest, that are on the theme of what's happening in the rest of the care home. That can be a really nice way, favourite treats, those sorts of things that you can pop on there. And also, I think about family visits. If families are coming at a particular time, have their mini afternoon tea in the bedroom together, maybe. So lots of lovely ideas there. Thank you. And that is a great question. And we know that many people are cared for in bed in care homes in the UK. Lots of our members are asking more and more for ideas and resources and support around supporting people with very advanced dementia, people perhaps who are nearing end of life. So really important question. Thank you for raising that one. Do we have any more questions? We've got a little bit more time. Oh, this is a comment rather than a question, I think. I'm having problems reading that one. Can you see that one, Eloise? Would you be able to read that one out for me?
Yeah. From Sheena says, just wanted to say thank you for sharing the working together toolkit. The relationship with my chef was really difficult. And then we got the toolkit. We are now working together and creating fab plans, which sounds
Brilliant.
Awesome. I'm really glad that that's definitely helped in the workplace and, you know, overall working together, definitely.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good. Anything that either of Ellie or Chris you'd like to add?
No, I think we're all good. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think we're just looking forward to afternoon tea week now. We've got so much planned that I think it should be lots of fun.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you guys working together as well. It's so good to see that you were able to talk every day, like you said, and really make that impact. It's good.
It's fantastic to see real life collaboration and teamwork, isn't it? And it's it brings what we do to life in terms of developing the resources and providing the support. So yes, thank you all for your time. I think our time is just about up. Thank you to my guests today, to Eloise, to Ellie, and to Chris. And thank you to everyone who has been with us live and those who are watching this later. I hope you have a nice cup of tea and a piece of cake to sit and watch this again and again, and share it with your colleagues if you found it useful. Let's together, we can make this a truly memorable afternoon tea week. So thank you all very much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Everyone. Bye.